Perfect. All right. Good morning, everybody, for let's see, what month are we in? July. I almost said August, for the July Q&A on this fine Saturday morning. Thank you all for joining me. And I really want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful feedback. I know that we had sent that survey out about the membership, and I want to say again, humongous thank you. This membership is something that I designed for all of you, and your feedback is so valuable to me. So I want you to know we're making some changes with this membership, because I always want to make it better. I want to make it as best that we can for your experience. So we're going to have some changes coming up that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. I hope so, at least, based on your feedback. So thank you. All right. So this was a really, really great month. I was so excited about so much interaction in the Facebook group, and you guys just jumped right on it. So I was thrilled about that. And I loved all these little tiny things and reading about what everybody's doing. And I know so many people love the lemon water idea. And there were some other great ideas. So I'm glad to hear you guys liked this month. I want to start out by saying one of the things that repeatedly comes up is when we have lost ourselves and can't find our way. This is just a little tidbit. How do we find our adult? I just want to start with this. Good morning, Anne. It's okay. You can do the survey. Oh, okay. So you guys can do the survey anytime. Even if you have not answered it yet, please still do it. Give me your feedback. And we are still creating what's coming out in the next month or so for you all. So go and find that email. It's buried in your email. Go and find the survey. It's buried in your email somewhere. All right. But I want to talk about how we find our adult when we have lost ourselves. And sometimes if we're in the heat of the moment and the adolescent has hijacked us, for lack of a better word, what do we do? And I know that I've given you many suggestions on this, but one thing that came to my mind this morning was music. Music, dancing, like you feel like you have lost yourself, you're in a terrible place, put some music on and put it on loudly, and let yourself dance. Let yourself have fun with it. Let your body start moving with the music. It just tends to turn off the voice in the adolescent and the egoic part of us, and we start flowing with the music. There's a beautiful energy to music. Put on what you love. Some people have asked me, like, well, do I have to put on classical music or put on, whatever? I don't care what you put on. It does not matter. Put on something that you love. I remember many years ago doing a podcast when Pete was on with me in the beginning stages, and he said, what music do you put on when you're like in a mood and you really are feeling angry, or you're feeling like you're in that adolescent chair place? Like, what do you put on? And I said, I put on Linkin Park, which is like this, like headbanging, but God, it takes me into into the adult place. Like, it gets that energy moving through me, and then I shift from that to another. So this morning I had on really loudly, because my whole family's gone, but Lady Gaga, she was blasting in my house, and I found myself like in the best mood, and I realized it's such a great way to move us into that adult chair. So music, dancing, of course, writing, poetry, painting, like doing anything that gets us back in the flow state. That's what we're trying to do, is to shift it in our energy. That's all we're doing to get back in that adult chair. So that's my little fun tidbit to kick this Q&A off, everybody. All right, here we go. Let's see. We've got some really good things. Okay, first question. This person has been doing little changes. Oh, this is good. I like this question. This is a good one too. Okay, this person says, I've been doing little changes and I don't know if they will have high impact, but it feels good to add self-care and be mindful. I also like the idea of setting intentions. Sorry, I can't read what I wrote. setting intentions, but I have problems in finding my big goals. I realize I don't know what my dream is. What do I wish or want to achieve besides peace of mind? People say everybody has a dream. Well, I don't know mine, and that is sad. Maybe I don't allow myself to have one. I think it's all pretty foggy, so I'm not sure if this fits the Q&A, but it is. Actually, I think you're on here, the person, if you'd like to talk to me about this. You don't have to, but I just have to say you're tapping into the adult chair collective consciousness, because this is what next month is all about. I'm just going to give you that little tiny tip there. But you know, I'm just going to say this, because this was a month about, making these little tiny changes. But as far as setting goals, again, I don't want to talk too much about this because I'm not going to say it, but it has something to do with next month. But I find that when we spend our childhoods acting as adults or caretaking, or maybe we had some neglect in childhood, or even part of it, that inner child part of us gets lost. It gets tucked away, and we don't know what we want. We don't even know how to pick one of these little small changes. Like, what little change am I going to put into my life for this month? Many of us would sit here and go, I don't know. I don't even know what to do. That's inner child stuff. It's like we want these ideas to come up from within. And if our inner child is trapped, hold on a second. There's like music blasting. I think it's my neighbors. Then we just have no. Hold on one second, you guys. I can't tell what's going on. This music is blasting. I think someone's at my door. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. I couldn't concentrate because my music turned back on, my Lady Gaga, for some reason on my Alexa. Anyway, sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, or what I was saying was, so the inner child part of us is the part of us that even gets excited and picks these things in addition to our adult. But we need that inner child part to be alive and active. And so if we're having issues with picking one thing, do a little work with the inner child. Get in your adult first, and then connect into that inner child and just say, hey, what would be fun for us to do this month? So it is about connecting into that inner child part and letting her or him help guide us with picking these things, as well as picking long-term goals. So there we go. Any questions about that? Anybody? Nope. You have a question? Nope. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the head nod. Thank you. Okay, good. And wait till next month. I think you're going to really like it. And you're going to like the meditation for next month. It will absolutely help with exactly what you said here. Okay. Oh, this is good. I'm having a hard time focusing on just picking one thing, like an OCD thing. I have to do more and can't do just one thing. I feel like I have to do all of the things on the list. I think a couple of people actually had written in, or a few of you even commented on Facebook about this. If I only achieve one thing, I feel stuck because I'm not making progress. So this is such a great question. So the overachiever part, or the driver part, here's the thing. There's a part of us that pushes us to achieve or overachieve. There's a part of us. So what I would say is we have to remember that living life, the whole human experience is about living in balance. We want to stay in balance. And when we are overachieving, even though the ego would say, oh, but look how much I got done. Look at all of that. Look at all that I have accomplished today. And again, we'll get feedback from other people on that. So we feel good. The ego gets stroked in that way. But it actually could make us out of balance. We really want to check in about that. We want to check in with the part of us that's pushing so hard. It's not to say we should not accomplish things throughout the day, but if we're over accomplishing or pushing ourselves too hard. It's just out of balance. So, anyone have any comments about that? Because I know that, again, in our society, it's like, oh, look how much I got done. It's like, no, no, no. We want to make sure that we are in balance. I know that I remember many years I would pride myself, or at least my adolescent would pride herself on saying, I work 7 days a week. I'm working so hard at my business and I love what I do, which is true, true, true. But what I realized was it was out of balance. And I think I did a live stream on this or video or something just recently because I was I think I did. I just did this. I don't remember where I put it. But anyway, I had sat down on a Saturday morning like I normally do. And I usually will record a podcast or a meditation or I write podcasts or meditations on the weekends. And I sat down on a Saturday morning at like 10 o'clock and started working. And the amount of resistance that had built up within me. And I said, what is going on? Like, I feel this anger and I'm mad that I have to sit here. I'm like, but I love what I do. Like it wasn't making sense to me. So I went and I sat with it and I literally had to walk away from my desk and I went and I sat outside and I said, what is going on here? And that part of me, my little girl showed up, little Michelle showed up and said, I am so angry that we are working on a Saturday again. I'm like, what? But I love what I do, which again is true. But again, it was out of balance. So I sat and had this long conversation with my little Michelle, who was about 5, that was talking to me. And she was like, arms crossed, like, I do not want to work on a Saturday. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to go have fun. And we don't have fun on Saturdays. I said, but work is fun for me. And she says, well, it's not fun for me all the time. And I was like, oh. So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, wow. And it was like that light bulb moment. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm out of balance. Like, I'm a workaholic. Oh my God. I didn't even know. I didn't know because I'm getting so much done. Again, I'm getting all, oh, look how much you get done, Michelle, and all this external praise. But I was not checking in with myself on the inside. That's the most important part. So I did. And I said to her, well, listen, I've got to get this podcast done. I've got to turn it in to Danny and I've got to do it by like 5 o'clock today. Can we just get this done? And then we're going to go and do something fun. And she said, yes. I said, okay, good. So I said, just give me an hour. And I did it in an hour. And then we went and we did something fun. So anyhow, it really is about balance. Think about the yin and yang symbol, you guys. It's like the yin is the feminine energy, the yang is the masculine energy, and it's in perfect balance. Our goals as humans is to live our lives in balance. So if we're doing something that's out of balance, it's our job to check in with ourselves and say, what is out of balance and how can I bring myself back into balance? So here I am working again on a Saturday. I'm sure my inner child is really happy with me. But I'm going to do something fun later, so it's okay. All right. Anyone have questions about that? Nope. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. How do I know when it's time to add another item on my list as far as like what we're doing this month? These little small changes. How do we know when it's time to add one more? Because I was really clear about saying just do one thing, because when we overwhelm ourselves and say, I'm just going to do 4 things. Now, if we're not overachievers, then we are going to sit here and say, I can't do anything. Like, I'm not going to do any of them. It's too much for me. So we'll have maybe one day of doing 4 things instead of one day of doing one thing, 2 days of doing one thing, 3, So what we want to make sure that we're doing first before we add another item is make sure that we're doing that one thing. And I really recommend doing it for a whole month, because what we're doing is we're actually blazing new neural pathways in the brain and we're creating a habit. So focusing on one thing is much easier than focusing on 2 or 3 or 4 things. So pick one thing. Once it's a habit, then you move to the very next thing. Let me just make sure I said everything I wanted to say. Yep, that's about it. Anyone have questions about that? No? Okay. Oh, and here's another question. How do I maintain the habit for 30 days? This is how we do it for 30 days, because people will say, gosh, I was so gung-ho on doing this, and it lasted about 5 days, and then it just sort of fizzled out. We want to, when we're in a balanced present state, declare it first to ourselves. It's like, I got to say it to myself, like, I'm going to commit to this just for myself. And we declare it. It's like, I'm going to drink, if we're going to use the lemon water example, like, I'm going to drink lemon water every day, or I'm going to go for a walk every single day. I find when we tell another person, it's that other person can hold us accountable, or when we start telling other people, it's like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like I have to do it now because I've told 4 people that I'm going to be walking 3 days a week for 30 minutes. And if I don't, I'm not going to look good, or whatever the ego kicks in, which is fine because it helps us to keep doing that 30-day routine, whatever it might be. So that's how we maintain it. I would also make notes around the house. Write it on your bathroom mirror. Put it on a Post-it note in your car, at work, at home, on your nightstand. If you're doing the lemon water, put the lemon on the cutting board with a knife when you go to bed. So you wake up first thing in the morning and you look at the lemon. You go, oh yeah, I got to do that lemon water. So just little simple things help to then remind you to take care of it the next day, to make sure that you're crossing it off your list. Questions about that? Nope. Okay. All right. Here's somebody that says, if I miss a day of my daily routine, I beat up on myself and don't want to do it anymore. So find your adult, is what I said. We do beat up on ourselves, and people will say, oh my gosh, I didn't, let's use the example of walk. I didn't walk today. I've been doing it for 15 days in a row. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I missed that day. I'm just not going to do it anymore. Again, we just fall off the wagon. It's like, no, 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 no. We need to find our adult and say, okay, so what? So what? Remember our adult chair words. It's like, who cares? I have the ability to jump back on the train, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to, even though it's, 10 o'clock at night, I didn't drink the lemon water first thing in the morning. So what? So I do it right now. Or I'll do it first thing in the morning. We need, again, I'm going to go back to that word balance again. It's about balance. It's like, it's okay. The adult voice is the voice that softens us. It's the voice that brings us back into that balanced state. When we're in the adolescent chair, that egoic voice is the one that's so harsh. It's the part of us that is, you must do it like this, or don't do it at all. It can be very black and white. So we really need that adult to come in and say, it's okay. I know that I do my meditations on Insight Timer, that Insight Timer app, and it shows up every single day that I meditate. The little circle gets colored in. And I went to meditate the other day, and I looked at it and I go, oh my God, I missed yesterday. How did I miss yesterday? And I thought, it's okay. And I started to go down that pathway of like, oh my gosh, I'm such a bad person. I don't know what I was thinking and how did I miss a day? Because I really like to have that streak going. Got to have every day. And I just softened it. The adult voice is the voice that softens it. That's what I call the next voice. We've got that automatic voice that comes in and goes, you're bad, Michelle. You didn't do this. What's wrong with you? Just don't even bother meditating ever again. All that is all adolescent voice. We need the next voice, which is the conscious voice. The voice of consciousness is the voice from our adult chair. That's the voice, the intentional voice. So we've got automatic thoughts from the adolescent chair. Remember, 70 to 90,000 automatic thoughts a day that are just constantly rifling through our mind. We need the intentional thoughts from the adult. The next voice, I call it, that comes in and says, it's okay. It softens that adolescent. It says, thank you so much, but we're going to keep meditating, and we're going to do it right now. Okay. So let's see. Any questions about that, you guys? The adolescent part? Anybody? All right. No interaction today. We don't have a lot of questions. We're going to have a short Q&A. So feel free to think of some questions right now, and you can ask when we're done. I have one more question here. This is a little bit off topic, but I just want to answer it because some people do have this. This woman says, my mother was a rageaholic. How do I alleviate any tendencies in future relationships? So this doesn't have a heck of a lot to do with this month, but I just want to touch on this topic of rage because some people either grew up with someone that was a rager or are ragers. So my mother was a rageaholic. How do I alleviate any tendencies in future relationships? Not to have this part of me. This is intergenerational, as I understand. Okay. Rage. Here's the thing. We want to come up with ideas about, I don't care what it is, whether it's rage or some other behavior that you don't want to continue to do in your life, whether it's intergenerational or not. It does not matter to me. We want to get clear when we're not triggered into rage or fill in the blank, whatever that you're doing, whatever that you want to change. We want to come up with ideas when we're not in that state. So if I'm a rager and I'm not raging, it's like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. So what exactly can I do instead? What can I do instead? I know I grew up, as you guys know my story, my uncle was a rager and we lived together every summer. He was over all the time. He ruined many a holiday, many a Sunday dinner, and he raged. And I became a rager in high school and into my 20s even. And I had to come up with an idea when I was not raging of how not to rage. So becoming mindful, meditation, coming up with other ideas, getting all of that energy out. I remember taking a training and hitting that Bataka bat, like that foam big square thing with a bat, and I beat the crap out of that thing. And I got so much energy out and anger. So we want to release, but then come up with other ideas. So we want to release and come up with new present moment ideas on what to do instead. I remember when my children were really tiny and they would fight. I have two little boys would be fighting and wrestling, and I'd be like, and I'd want to rage. And I'm like, not doing that. And I'd go in the other room and I'd just close the door and I'd breathe. I'd go in the other door and I'd go in the other room and I would breathe. I'd punch a pillow and I'd come back and then I was fine. So, and I don't do that anymore. It's like, it doesn't even feel like, it feels like such a distant memory, but we want to overcome what's going on in the moment and then move on and just find a new way. So I don't care if it's intergenerational or not. People say that to me. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's a habit and we can change habits. So, all right. I am opening up the floor because that's all I've got for you guys for today. Those were some really good questions about this month. Let me see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. So you guys, I'm opening it up. Any questions at all? I'm happy to answer. You have to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. Anybody? Or throw something in the chat box? Nope. Nobody? Nobody? Well, this is going to be a really short Q&A if you guys don't have any questions. It was such a great month, I have to say. And I would like to ask you guys, would anyone like to, I would love to hear how you guys are doing. We are at, what is today? July 20th. Oh, that's a great question. I will ask that question. I will answer this question. Another one came in. How are you guys doing though? Either hit me up in this chat box here if you want to unmute yourself. How are you doing have you been able to maintain what's been going on all month, whatever you chose to do this month? Anyone want to comment? No? Yes. Okay. Unmute yourself and chat with me if you want to. People are chatting. I've got my lemon water on hand. That's wonderful. Okay. So explain visioning. That actually did come up. Can you tell me more? Okay. The person that's asking me about visioning, can you give me a little bit more on that? I see your question. Just give me a little bit more and I'll answer it. But visioning, that was one of the ideas that I had for you guys. So visioning is when we are imagining what we want to have in our lives. So you just spend time in a creation session envisioning what you would like. So if I want to be, I'm just going to throw this out there. If I want to be thinner, if I want to run a marathon, let's just use this. If I want to run a marathon, let's just say, I'm going to imagine myself running a marathon. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to imagine myself running that marathon and how good it's going to feel to put my number on in the morning and go for or run the marathon. And then at the end of the marathon, how does it feel to cross that finish line? And you get right into the emotion of how it makes you feel. This helps to create what's this experience for you and bring it into your current day reality. Does that make sense? Give me a head nod or give me a chat. So visioning is just about imagining what it is that you want to have in your life. All right, hold on a second. Here's a few questions. Hold on one second. I'm reading some chats here in the box. I'm reading these chats that are coming in. These are really good. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. But is this the problem? What do we want in our life? Okay. So regardless of what it is, and I see what your question is, you guys, I see some of these questions coming in about visioning. I'm going to answer one of you an email on this for this answer. But what is this the problem? What do we want in our lives? Wait till next month. Yes. Okay. Perfect. I will answer you an email. Anyway, so if this makes sense about what visioning is, we just want to sit and imagine what it is that we want and experience the end result, whatever that end result is. So if you're running a marathon, you're crossing that finish line. If you're wanting to lose weight, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to imagine yourself at the weight that you want to be at. Imagine yourself eating the foods that you're eating. Imagine yourself getting on the scale and looking down. If you want to make more money or have a new job, get a new job, whatever it is, you're going to imagine yourself already as if you've accomplished it, as if it's already happened. And then you step into the emotions that come up around that. Does that make sense? So you want to feel the emotions in the body of whatever it is that you want to have happen and be in those emotions. That's how we vision. But we want to first get the vision of it and then feel the emotions behind it. Make sense? Head nod, yes or no? Yes? Good? Questions? Good. All right, you guys. Anyone have any other questions or comments? No? This was a little... Yes?
Could you tell me what this month's topic was? I didn't know there was a topic. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. It's this. So this month was about small changes, big impact.
Oh, okay.
So it was all about bringing in small changes into our lives that create a big impact. The reason why this month was so important is because it sounds silly, like, well, who cares if I'm drinking, let's say, lemon water? Who cares if I'm walking 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day? It sends a message to all of our parts that I'm in charge. My adult is in charge. Excuse me. So there's so many reasons why this is a good thing. So lemon water is fantastic. It cleans out. I mean, it detoxes the body, Walking is so important. We know the reasons why. Meditation is important. So they're all important. Here's why I chose this topic, though. I chose this topic because it sends the message to our parts that the adult's in charge. And it gives us more adult energy when we actually take a stand and say, I'm doing this. So there were many different reasons, but that was one of the biggest reasons, is it helps us to get more in our adult chair. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So you can use that with anything new that you want to occur in your life to start making small steps toward that goal.
Yes.
Whether it be creating healthy relationships for the first time or more connections. Yeah. For even if it's been many years and it seems not doable because it's been so long.
Yes.
Just to start moving in that direction.
Right. But it's taking really tiny steps again, implementing them for the month until they become a habit. And then you bring the next one on. Whatever that small, little tiny step is that you want to take that small step. Because
Makes sense.
you're
Yeah.
welcome. It will make big changes. It does. It changes us on so many different levels, from physical to mental to emotional to spiritual.
And as we go along, we move along, we learn maybe something seems like the first time that we didn't know how to do before.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But we're making tiny, because as humans, we think, well, I got to make this huge, giant shift in my life in order to change who I am. And we don't have to do that. We take little itty bitty steps. Something as small as making your bed every day, if you're not a person that makes your bed, or something as small as drinking more water, or walking 10 minutes a day if you're not a walker or you don't exercise. These little itty bitty things, it's like a domino effect. It sends ripples through us, and it changes us on many, many, many levels.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Yes. Sure. Do you want to jump on here, Carrie?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Can everyone hear Carrie? Sorry, I'm using your name.
Okay, I don't care. I have no time.
Yeah. Share what you'd like to share.
I see a functional medicine doctor, and I've been struggling with liver issues for the last 3 or so years. And I saw him this week. My labs are better, and I was telling him how I stress out, and he said, really any kind of stress that you have or any kind of worry is so detrimental to your body that really the only thing that works better than medicine or supplements or diet is gratitude. And so he told me that every morning when he wakes up, whether it's to the alarm or just naturally, he will lay in bed and visualize himself just completely radiating gratitude. Like every nook and cranny of his body is filled with gratitude. And he doesn't allow himself to get out of bed until he's completely saturated with gratitude. And he said it sets his whole day in a different light. And he said, because I've started my day that way, if I lose it throughout the day, it's so much easier to tap into. And so I just love that. I just think that can be powerful.
I love that too. That's awesome. Thank you. What was the other thing you were going to share? I know that I remember saying you got to share that. I love that. That's really powerful though, because you're setting the tone of the day. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. I have a challenge for everybody. What if we all implement that for next month? How about that one? I love that.
I like it.
I love that. So spend time in gratitude in the morning before your feet even hit the floor in the morning, and allow that energy. You guys, everything about the adult chair is energy. I mean, everything about life is energy. Everything about the whole world is energy. I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I'm just going to stop there. But listen, when we sit in gratitude, it sends this ripple through our bodies of a very high vibrational state. So therefore, the whole day's tone is set, right? It sets a beautiful tone to the day. So let's add that for next month. I love that. Let's do it. It's a challenge. The daily gratitude challenge. How about that?
I like it.
I'm writing it down. I'll be checking on all of you to make sure you're doing it. I love that. I'm going to do it too. That's awesome. The gratitude challenge. Okay. Tell us, Carrie, what did we talk? I'm trying to think what I said. Oh my gosh, share that. That was one thing. What was the other thing?
I think it was a conversation about my post.
Yes, that's what it was. I'm like, my brain isn't working. Yes. Would you mind sharing? That was a beautiful post. Yes.
Not at all. So I've had just some history. I've been in and out of therapy for years. I've done Al-Anon for years. I've really been working on myself, really, really, really reading books. I'm at the point, or I've been at the point where I'm just burnt out. But about 6 months ago, I found the adult chair, and it just really resonated with me. I did a weekend intensive, and it's like everything has come together for me. All the things that I've learned in therapy, Al-Anon, and now the adult chair, it just like sealed everything together for me. So I've been in depression for, gosh, I can't even remember, maybe forever. And just over the last 6 months, it's just been clearing and clearing and clearing. And then maybe a month ago, I think, Michelle, you and I had one of our appointments, and we were talking about a recent breakup, and I have a thing for narcissists, and are used to, yes, positive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Remember, you guys, we have to watch our words. The spoken word and thoughts are so powerful, right? Keep going. Sorry. I lovingly corrected you.
Thank you. And I didn't have to correct you about your time.
I know you were going to try to correct me. I was like, oh, shoot, Carrie's on. I better get the words right. Correct me.
But so during this appointment, Michelle was explaining this energy thing to me, and just how, people come into our lives for a reason. And I had this belief that this relationship damaged me and was hurtful, but it was actually, and I also had the misconception that he was such a blessing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And just in kind of just laying it all out to Michelle, she repeated it back to me in reality, because I'd been making up stories.
Mm-hmm.
And as she was telling me this stuff, I physically felt something fall away from me.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me emotional just thinking about it. It was like, I don't even know what it was, but it was just very subtle, but it was like this feeling of just shedding bark or a layer of skin that just didn't serve me anymore. And I have felt so light since then.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, it's not like I'm not sad. I've got family issues and dog health issues and job issues, and I have my stresses, but they're not, the way I put it to Michelle yesterday is, my head is now above the water, and I'm in control. I'm not swimming to try to prevent drowning. I'm swimming to, like, for enjoyment. I'm not trying to save my life anymore. I want to say happy.
Be careful.
But
it's okay to say that. Yeah.
There's this inner peace that I have never ever in my life had.
Yeah.
And I looked for that peace in relationships, and I looked for that peace in, well, pretty much relationships. And I'm not dating anyone. I'm kind of doing online dating, but not really. I'm filling my bucket with me, and it's just such a different feeling. And I truly believe, and I was thinking about this after our appointment, Michelle, it was going through and connecting with my child and dealing with deeply, deeply painful, I know you don't like the word wound, but
it's okay.
Wound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just connecting with all of that stuff has just helped me free myself of chains that were holding me down. It works. I guess is my, I feel like the commercial, but this stuff really does work.
Yeah. What I hear you saying though is, you were looking for that peace, that happiness, that joy outside of yourself.
Yes.
And what I heard you just say, is I have goosebumps as I say this, is you went into it. You went into the wound, you went inside of yourself, and you looked at all that stuff and got to know it. And that's where the change happened, or when the change happens. Yeah. And you connected with your inner child. That inner child is such powerful work when we do that work. It's so powerful. But even connecting with our parts, and you did that work.
Well, and I feel like my adolescent doesn't run my world anymore. My adult isn't.
Yeah.
And my is still there, because you and I talked about some of the little things that my adolescent will kind of nudge me to do, and it just doesn't work in my life anymore. Some of the stuff that the adolescent kind of prompts me to do, and I'm like, I see you,
Yeah.
see what you're trying to do, and I'm not going to go down that path.
Devil. Yeah.
Little devil.
Or we can call it something else, but yes.
Yeah.
It's so true, because you're able to see now that that other voice of the adolescent isn't all of you. And it's like, oh, look who's doing that. I don't think so. No,
Well,
thank you.
my adolescent wanted me, or maybe
Lost you, Carrie. Can't hear you. Carrie? Whoops. Lost you, Carrie. We can't hear you. Anyway, can you hear me, Carrie? We lost you. I don't know. I can't hear her. I don't think, can you guys hear her? I can't hear her.
No.
You can't hear her either? Okay, thank you. All right, we lost her. Carrie, if you can hear us, we cannot hear you, so come back. But I want to say something else that that came up quite a bit this week, and something that she and I were talking about too, which is when I do this work and really start living in my adult chair, you know, what is that like? And this had come up not only with her but with a few people over the weekend. It's like we feel like that when we are doing this work, that someday there's like an end point. You know, like someday my pain will be gone. Are you there, Carrie?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, there
Sorry,
you are. We lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah. Can we talk about the other thing we talked about, which was like, you know, how we talked about how it's like when we're on this life journey, you know I did. That's why I'm certified in like 50 things, because I'm like, I will fix myself. I'm going to fix this, and I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to fix my pain, and I'm going to fix my sadness and my depression and my anxiety. I'm going to fix it all. So let me go take this training. Let me go get certified over here. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. And you know what? There's not one tool, there's not one little technique that's going to fix it all, because we're not broken. That's the thing I figured out. Like, wow, I'm not broken, but my mind, I got to stop following my mind. And I need to understand something about being human. That is, we are human beings with think about a spectrum of emotion, from love to fear and everything in between. And one of the gifts, I'm going to say the word gift, of being a human is that we get to experience everything from love to fear. We did not come in just to experience love, joy, bliss, happiness, peace. We came in to experience all of it. So if we only experience, if we only want to experience happiness, joy, bliss, it's like the range of the range and the depth of that joy, bliss, and happiness is pretty small. We've got to be willing to travel down the other end of the spectrum. So the more fear, the more sadness, the more depression, the more shame that I feel, the greater the depth of the happiness and joy that I feel way down here. There's a range, and that's just part of being human. So once we reach our adult, is there more peace in our lives? Absolutely yes. Carrie, would you agree?
Yes.
Would all of you agree? Do you get what I'm saying? When we start diving into all of our parts, into the inner child, we start looking at what the heck is going on. My overachiever, like I was talking about, my workaholic, my binge eater, all of these parts of ourselves. When we start looking at those parts and getting to know them, they're not in the way as much anymore. They're not as loud, would be a good way of saying that. So the amount of peace that I can have in my life starts going from this much peace to this much peace. So the length of time that I sit in peace is extended. However, it does not mean that I don't experience sadness, shame. I just experienced shame the other day. Just did a whole video on it. It's out on Instagram or IGTV or something like that. I don't know where it is. But anyway, I was just in shame like a week ago. And I'm like, but do I sit in shame all the time? I used to, but now I know what to do with it. It's like, oh, wow, it's my shame. Let me go sit with that shame. Done. So it's not that we don't experience sadness and depression and anxiety and all these things. It means we have less moments of those emotions, but I'm still human. And human beings experience all kinds of emotions. It's a gift. Like I've said before, I don't not want to experience fear, because when I'm walking out of the store or the mall or wherever we are at night, and I'm walking to my car and it's 11 o'clock at night and it's pitch dark and I'm all by myself, I hope and pray that I have fear. I hope that I know I better be alert as to who's around me, because I don't want some crazy person jumping out of the bushes and raping me or killing. It's like, I hope I have fear. So I don't want to lose my fear. It's like we want convenient emotions. We just want to have fear when it's necessary, but only when it's necessary. Like if I'm walking to the car at night, that's not being human. That's just not being human. But I will say this again, the more I live in my adult, and I think many of you will say this, once you've found your adult and you start living in it more and more and more, you will have longer extended periods of peace. You will have more joy. You will have more happiness. But it doesn't mean you're not going to have a day where you're really sad. It's just not going to happen, because thank God, and you are a beautiful human. Anything to add to that? Anybody? Carrie, questions, comments, anybody? Anybody? So I don't want you to think, because I had this thought, Carrie, you and I were talking about this yesterday. Like, I thought, gosh, when I can fix every single little piece of myself, I'm reaching the top of the mountain. I'm going to plant my flag on the top of the mountain and say, Eureka, I've made it. I'm done. I will have no more pain in my life. BS. We are human beings. We're going to have pain. Sorry if that's loud. I'm banging on my desk. We're going to have pain. It's part of being human. It's part of why you're here, to experience the spectrum of emotions.
Michelle, I think for me, the difference is because I have a self-esteem and I found that inner peace. Mm-hmm. I still have the pain. I just don't have the suffering.
Yes. Yes. You are off of...
On pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Yes. You stepped off of Suffering Island, I guess.
I did. Yes. I was on Suffering Island in Nashville.
Yes, you were on Suffering Island. So time to step off. So you stepped off. How do we get out of... Carrie, enlighten everybody. How do we get off? How do we end suffering?
Dealing with our emotions.
No. Yes. But what else? And I'm going to pick on you again.
Okay.
Because I love you. I love all of you, by the way, but because I know you, I saw you in the workshop. When people say dealing with emotions, please, what does that mean?
Processing, feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling emotions.
Yeah, like I'm just processing my emotions. I'm feeling my emotions. I'm
letting them pass through me.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Yeah, I had a pivotal experience, I don't know, a couple months ago, and we talked about this. I was sitting on a plane and I realized that all these emotions that I'd been identifying for the last few months had all boiled down to fear. And I remember sitting on the plane thinking, don't lose it, don't lose it, don't lose it, don't lose it. And I got off the plane in Chicago. I drove to my hotel and I sat in my hotel for like a good 30 minutes and just sobbed. And I'm so exhausted after that. But I think for me, that was like a big chunk of just, I like to look at it as like blockage. And once I moved through that, things just started to kind of fall in place. And I think because I hadn't really let myself feel those feelings. I had felt all of the other feelings that I thought I had felt all other feelings. The root was fear for me. And just going through that. And it was awful when I was going through it, but I felt 50 pounds lighter when I was done. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
But it felt awful. But I would do it again and again and again because the end result was so much clarity and purity somehow.
Yeah. So did you cry forever?
No. Because
that's a fear that so many of us have, that when we open up that valve of emotion, of tears, people say, I hear this all the time with clients. They'll say, there's so much pain there. There's so much whatever there. There's so much sadness. There's so much shame. There's so much anger. There's so much, etc. I don't want to even begin with the tears because I won't be able to end. What'd you say?
It didn't consume me. It hurt, but it felt very healing too.
It does. And that's when we feel like, gosh, I feel like, I mean, we feel like I've lost 30 pounds when I'm done with all that crying,
Yeah.
because tears move emotion, move energy. Remember, energy and emotion, same thing. So when we're shoving those emotions down inside, then we are making our energy stagnant inside of us. It's like it's like there's a force. Emotions want to move. Always, always, always. Emotions move through us. They move through us. Think about a river, okay? And when we stop the emotions, remember, who stops our emotions? The mind, the adolescent, ego. The mind pushes down the emotion, and it's two forces going against each other. So when we have a good cry, it's like the beaver dam that was built over the river. It's like that dam gets pushed through and the water can flow again, and we feel like we have lost weight because it's such a great release. It's because our energy is moving again. It's free flowing again. But yeah, I like that you said that, because so many people say to me, I can't cry. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. The other thing is, if you begin to cry and I say to you, oh my God, your house is on fire, you're going to turn that off in a heartbeat. Like, we have the ability to turn off our tears in any moment. So allow yourself to cry. Grab a box of Kleenex, get it out. I promise you it will not last forever. I promise. I've done this almost 30 years now. I've never seen anyone cry on and on and on and on and on. It does not happen. All right. Thank you, Carrie. And I've got some more questions that have come in. Did you have anything else, Carrie?
Nope.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for your contribution here. All right, you guys, I have a few more questions that have come in. Okay, here's one. This person struggles to make small changes permanently and get frustrated. Okay, and then she says, after listening about the child being hidden or lost, it makes sense. And this is why she struggles to make simple decisions. True. Yes, you've got to get in touch with that inner child, because we tuck that inner child away, or the inner child goes away. It doesn't even matter. But the fact is we're not connecting to that inner child. And she says, I was self-sabotaging my efforts to change, but I just feel lost, like a butterfly that doesn't know where to land. Oh, honey. She ended a traumatic marriage to a covert narcissist, and she struggles to make decisions or even get a vision of her future life and what it could look like. Again, wait until next month. I promise you, this is so crazy. I swear, I think we're all so interconnected. You guys are tapping into what I'm putting out for next month already. But how can I turn this around and start to feel like I'm moving forward with intention instead of just surviving? Again, little itty bitty baby steps. If you have not, whoever wrote this in, I'm not going to say your name, listen to the podcast, listen to that meditation that I did this month in the membership site, because you will find that I address that, but take itty bitty steps. Even if you just say, hey, I'm going to make my bed every day. Hey, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk. Setting the intention to do something as simple as that, and people go, well, that's silly. I can walk 10 minutes. Then do it. Because what happens on the other end of this is then you'll say, wow, look at what I accomplished. It changes so much in our brain and in the emotional body, mental body, physical body, spiritual body. Setting intentions, very small intentions. Here's one. I'm going to sit outside in nature for 5 minutes a day. How's that for an intention? That's it. And all I want you to do when you sit outside in nature is observe. Do not listen to music. Do not have your earbuds in. Just sit in nature. Nature carries the vibration of love. So it vibrates. They've even measured this on the Hertz scale of 500 on the Hertz scale, where shame vibrates at like 5 or 10. So sitting in nature brings us up. It brings more peace in. Just sitting there. You don't even have to do anything. So sit and observe. Look at the birds. Listen to the insects. Listen to whatever's around you. Just sit outside for 5 minutes a day. But set the intention to do that. Say, I'm going to do that every day for 30 days. Watch what happens at the end of 30 days. Here's someone else. Oh, thanks for explaining. I thought something was wrong with me when I felt fear or shame. No. Okay, let me read this. I thought something was wrong with me when I felt fear or shame. This helps me to have realistic expectations and not doubt my progress because those feelings are still in me. No, you cannot lose your shame. No one here and on the planet can lose their shame. However, when we add awareness and consciousness into who we are, which is the adult, it transforms shame. So when we feel like we have so much shame, so much sadness, and it's heavy, when we add light or awareness into that, it shrinks it. It doesn't go away. Kind of like this, the fear. I grew up having tons of fear. My father made me afraid of the whole world. God bless him, and I loved my father, but he was always afraid I was going to get sick, stolen, or what was the other one? Cold. I mean, he was always afraid of everything for me. So he was overprotective. So I grew up with so much fear, but I changed. And like I said, I used to say, I just wish I didn't have so much fear. Now I've got social anxiety because of him and all this stuff. It's like, I still want fear when I'm walking to the car at night when it's 11 o'clock at night. I still want that fear. So not paralyzing fear, like I can't walk to the car, but I want to know that I'm being alert. So I want a little bit of fear. It's okay that we have shame. But again, think about, remember I used this example before, if we're baking a cake and we forgot to add sugar, it might look okay, like humans look great on the outside, but an ingredient that we want to add is more sugar and it changes the whole cake, even though it looks the same. It's the same thing. We add awareness. We add awareness is light. Consciousness is light that we're adding into our being. When we add more light, it changes all of these things like shame, I don't matter, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough. It changes them. It changes them and transforms them. It makes them smaller, but we still have them. They will still pop up every once in a while. Maybe it's every 10 years, but we still have them. And the way that we add light to these parts is to give them attention. I had shame. That was the video that I just did. And I talked about it. I looked at it and it shrunk. It transformed it. In fact, Sarah, do me a favor, post that shame video in this group. I want this in the Tech Tribe. I don't think it went in here. I'm going to post it in this Facebook group to make sure you guys see it. And maybe even send an email, Sarah, for those of you that are not on Facebook. Because that was such a great way of transforming one of our parts. Okay, so we are at 11 o'clock. Anyone have any other information? You know, I have to say, I really like this. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing, and all of you that that were messaging me. I often wonder about doing like group therapy on here somehow. That'd be another idea I have for you guys, because there's such beautiful questions coming in privately and to the whole group, like beautiful questions and comments. So thank you. We are reading all of them. Okay, so remember, next month we are doing, and make sure, Sarah, please add this, the gratitude challenge. I love that, Carrie. Thanks for sharing that. We're going to do this gratitude challenge where every morning before our feet hit the floor, we're going to wake up in the morning and we're going to find something that we're grateful for. And you're welcome. Thank you, Lori. We are going to find something that we're grateful for. And when people say to me, I don't know what to be grateful for, look around your bedroom and find one thing that you like. I don't care if it's like the TV, if you have a TV in your bedroom, or the dresser that you bought. I really like that dresser. Feel it and fill yourself up with that gratitude. Find a few things that you're grateful for. If you can. Sometimes people go, I don't know, I can't think of anything. Think about the sun in the sky. Think about the fact that you love the ocean or going to the ocean. Or going to the mountains. Think of something that you really love and feel the emotions around it and have gratitude. Okay? Have gratitude and sit in it. That sets the tone for our entire day. And if throughout the day you start feeling yourself start to get lower, we're going to pull ourselves back up and think of that one thing that you're grateful for. And again, if you have 3 or 4, that's fine too. But think about the gratitude that raises your vibration again. And remember how we feel, okay, sets the tone for our day, but also it becomes our point of attraction for the entire day. So if I'm feeling grateful, there's an energy to that, to the gratitude. So I'm going to attract more things in that similar vibration to me. I'm going to attract friendlier people to myself during that day. I'm going to attract really positive experiences because I'm in this really high, grateful state. Make sense, everybody? I can't see anybody, so I don't even have a shaking of the head. You guys are going to have to type me a chat. Anyway, love that. So thank you, Carrie. I'm really thinking about group therapy here, people. You'll have to tell me what you think about doing that, how we can do that on this, because I love this. This has been so interactive today. I love it, you guys. So if you've not seen the survey that we sent out, we're going to put that in the Facebook group. And maybe I think what we should do again, in case you missed it, is send it out again for you guys, in case you didn't see it. But I love your ideas. And honestly, this adult chair membership group is yours. And I want to make it as best I can for you all and your experience. I want to give you what you want. So I read every single one of all of the recommendations that you guys had, and we are going to be changing quite a few things actually and trying to make it great for you. So you guys, I so appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you wrote in. I'm grateful for that. I may use that. Group therapy, everyone's saying group therapy. Yes, I got to figure out how to do that, but I'm going to look into that. Thank you for writing in, you guys, and let me know that you guys like that. I have been thinking about that for quite a while. I have to figure out how to do it, but I'll come up with something. All right. The adult chair San Antonio. If you do not know, San Antonio, the end of October, we're doing 3 days in San Antonio for the adult chair workshop. So if you do not know about it, just go to the website, theadultchair.com. Would love to have you guys. And that's about it. Anyone have any last questions? Because we are ending. We are at 11 o'clock. Anyone else? No? All right. Continue on. Carry on with the rest of your month here, you guys, with this small changes, big impact. Continue with small changes. I love the interaction that we're having. Let's keep it up and continue with our growth into the adult chair. That's that. Also, I would love to hear from you guys on when you do that survey, or just hit us up on email or in the Facebook group, what your favorite day is to do this Q&A, because I know it kind of bounces around. We're trying to find the best time and day for all of you. And I know it's all that we record this, but it would be nice to know what you guys prefer. So let us know, because it's all about you guys, and I love that. So thank you. All right, everybody, have a beautiful rest of your Saturday. And I don't know who was on at 4 o'clock in the morning, whoever said she was getting on from another country. But thank you, whoever that was. We love you and appreciate you. And I love all of you guys. And I will talk to you very soon in Facebook, but I will for sure see you here next month in the Q&A. And I look forward to showing you guys what we're rolling out for this membership. I hope you're going to like it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Love you guys.